My name is James Bridgeforth. I'm a young and very successful investor who has generated multiple tens of thousands of dollars investing in the stock and crypto markets. In this video, I'm going to be bringing to you 3 stocks that are sitting at amazing buy now prices that are going to perform well in 2026 and the long-term future. Now, before we break down 3 of these companies, I first want to start off by how the market is performing today and how it's performed over the last 5 days. So when we go over and we look at the S&P 500, we see that the S&P 500 over the last 5 days is sitting down 0.56%. It's down around 17 basis points on today and around 2.5% down over the 1 day. So we see that the market has not been performing the best over the last 5 days, and this could be for a multitude of reasons. It could just be the ebbs and flows of the market, or it can be some of the news data that has been coming out. I do know that we have on the 27th and 28th, we also have the Federal Chair meeting with Jerome Powell, and this is basically going to see if the Fed is going to be cutting rates or not. Now, when we go over to the NASDAQ, which tracks the performance of our top performing technology companies, we see that this is down even further. We're down 0.84% over the last 5 days and down 0.29% on today. Now, since over the last 5 days, we can see that this has been down 1%. This tells me that some of our favorite technology companies could be performing poorly, but this isn't something that you should run away from, because when it's blood in the streets, it's time to eat. That's a proven phrase in the market, basically saying that when the market is going down red, this is an opportunity where you want to seek for the best positions to get into, knowing that if you buy low and sell high, you will be a profitable investor. So we know that technology in the AI space is a good space to invest in for the future. So when we see the NASDAQ down, we want to look for opportunities in some of our favorite companies to see if they're also down as well, and see if we can buy at support levels so that we can benefit in the long run, because these are positions that we are going to be holding for a very long time. So now that we see that the market is down, specifically the NASDAQ, I'm going to be looking at certain companies, and these 3 companies are the ones that I'm going to be focusing on. The first company I'm going to focus on is going to be Palantir, a company that I've been buying since it was around $8 per share. This is a great company that's sitting at amazing prices, and even though it's higher than where my original buy position was, it still has amazing opportunity at these levels. So if we go over and look at the charts on Palantir, we can clearly see that Palantir is sitting at $172 at the time of making this video. Now, since the NASDAQ has been down around 0.84% over the last 5 days, we look for opportunities in this space. So when we look at Palantir, we can see that it's near a support level, and it's actually sitting on one of our major support levels of our 200-day moving average, and it's also sitting around our base of $170, which is also another support level. So when we have this huge red candle right here, a lot of people may be fearful. A lot of investors in Palantir were probably buying at all-time highs around $208 per share, but those are places where you don't actually want to chase the stock, and you want to wait for pullbacks like we're having right now. So as we see, it's at $172. This is an amazing support level, as we understand that this is a great company. Now, I will say, if it does break this 173, 172, around that $170 mark, if it breaks below that, we are going to $161 per share, and that's going to be my strongest point to where I'm going to be buying this stock the heaviest. Now, you can clearly look over here and see that there's a slight gap in this direction, which is exactly how I'm getting my support and my resistance levels, because I talked about in my last video how every gap must fill, and we can clearly see that the gap has been filled since then. But when we create a gap, wherever it starts and ends at could also act as a support and resistance level, which is exactly what we're seeing in this case. So this is a great opportunity where I'm going to be loading the boat and buying Palantir at these prices, because even though I believe that this is going to be a great year in the stock market, when we anticipate a great year, we also have to find ways to build our position size so that we can become wealthy, because these are the opportunities. The long-term investments are the ways that we are going to become wealthy, not the quick trades, because those can be a lot more risky, especially if you're a beginner investor. And all of my beginner investors, I want you to be investing into proven companies like these blue chip companies like Palantir is offering right here at this amazing price level as $172 per share. So now that we have just wrapped up Palantir, I'm actually going to move into my second stock, which is one of the most proven, known companies in the entire world. Everybody knows about this one, and it's going to be Microsoft. And you may be thinking, Microsoft is an amazing blue chip company. How is this stock down and how is it performing? This stock is still performing very well, especially by the way that they're going to integrate AI into their future. So I believe in Microsoft long term, but it also has positions to where when we have have dips in the market, this is the exact time where you want to position yourselves, because I truly believe that Microsoft is a stock that will not go away in the future, but it's ones that you want to be positioned in and hold for the long term. So when we go ahead and pull up the charts, we can see that Microsoft at the time of making this video is sitting at a current price of $460 per share. Now, this is a great position to get in at, but if you slowly look, you can see because we are at a support level. Now you can see that we had a recent high at around this level right here, but since it was unable to break through, it acted as a support level. So then when we came down here and we retested our 200 EMA and then we bounced all the way up and was able to break through that original resistance level, now since we broke through, that same resistance level has just became support on a stock like Microsoft. So we have this stock and this candlestick that's sitting at this price right here. Now, if it's able to confirm under this price point, then we understand that this is going to break lower to $442 per share, maybe even a little bit lower to $397, which is going to be our next support level. And that is going to be how we are going to position ourselves in Microsoft. So we can see that Microsoft is currently at a good price to where we can position ourselves right now. Now, if it breaks below my current support level that I just identified, then I'm going to buy even heavier at these prices, knowing the history of Microsoft and knowing that they're going to be integrating AI. AI is going to be a major player in any company that you invest in. You want to see how are these companies going to be integrating AI into their company. Because if you're not integrating AI, I truly believe that you are going to be left behind. This could even be how Blockbuster wasn't integrating fast enough and then they got taken over by Netflix. There's a large market share in the technology space and you want to look at it like a circle or like a pie. And which company is going to get the largest piece of the pie when it comes to the AI and tech space? Right now we have the Magnificent Seven, but there are going to be companies that are going to slowly start to take a bigger piece of the pie, and those are the companies that you want to be invested in as an investor. Because when we look at companies like Nvidia, they were once a smaller piece of the pie when it came to our technology and AI companies, but as they began to get a larger position and take up a larger market share, they are now the #1 company in the stock market, sitting at an all-time high of around $4 trillion market valuation. So when we have a Microsoft company that is taking a slight dip, this is a stock that I'm going to be positioning myself in because I truly believe in it long term. Now that we have just wrapped up that stock, I'm going to move into our third stock, which is arguably going to be one of my favorites for the long term. Now, if you are an investor and you've been investing for quite some time, this could be a stock that you are very familiar with. You may even have this app on your phone, and it's going to be Robinhood. Robinhood is currently sitting at around $108 per share at the time of making this video. I also believe that is down around 19% over the last month, but this is a company that has done amazing. This isn't the Robinhood of old, but this is the Robinhood of new. This is a company that has been innovating amazingly and has started to take up a large portion of that market share. Obviously, it's in a different market than technology, but this is a market that needs to be absorbed, and Robinhood is doing exactly that. They're also by getting into the gambling space as well by taking up a larger market share, while you can go onto their platform on Robinhood and see that they have a multitude of services that you can access as an investor. You can even start to gamble and do sports betting, and you can even gamble on if the Fed is going to cut by 25 or 50 basis points. This is a game changer in a space where people are trying to make quick money, and then they also have different options to where the dry powder or the buying power that you have in your positions can start to earn interest on your money. So Robinhood is a great company. This is a great firm or brokerage that I'm going to be using in the future. Especially, this is what I like to buy on when I'm buying Bitcoin or any of my smaller cap companies. Robinhood is the platform to go, and I highly recommend it for a lot of my beginner investors, simply from the perspective that you are able to buy fractional shares and you can put a minimum of $1 to get invested today. Now, when I'm moving over to the charts, Robinhood, like I stated, is currently sitting at $108 per share, but we also see that it has a near resistance level of our 200 EMA of $103 per share. This is a stock that I'm going to be buying and holding for the long term because I believe in the innovation of Robinhood. I believe that this is a company that I could hold for years and years and years to come, because this is a company that's currently sitting at an amazing price. Like I stated, we were just at our 100 EMA, we broke below that support level, and now we're coming closer and closer to our 200 EMA. Don't be fearful during this moment, but that same hype that Robinhood had when it was at all-time highs around $155 per share is the same hype that it should have right now. Many people aren't going to be talking about it, but I remember when Robinhood was at its all-time high and everybody on TikTok and Instagram and YouTube was making videos about it, but I'm going to be making videos about it at the bottom because these are the opportunities where I want all the investors to start to position themselves so you can start to make money. Because what is the good of bringing to you a company when it's at all-time highs, but what about the times where it's down and you can actually position yourselves and you can start to take action? Now, all of this is not financial advice. This is just educational purposes. I'm just telling you that these are the 3 companies that I'm going to be positioning myself for the long term, that I can take actionable steps today and start to build out my positions. So if you learn anything new, or if any of these companies are something that you own, feel free to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know down in the comment section, and I'll see you guys in the next video.